I'm your host, Sharada Devi, of the Born to Be Free podcast that serves as a bridge between the ancient and the new era, a confluence of opposites where all is seen as sacred and every experience is meant to catapult you into your supreme destiny. Welcome to the Born to Be Free podcast. My name is Sharada Devi. I'm your host. I feel so blessed and excited to have my first episode of the Born to Be Free podcast in Mother Bali, where I have had the most profound blessing to live for the last 16 years. Brings me to tears just thinking about it. Literally underneath this majestic banyan tree. I don't know if you can see it, but we're literally underneath a maybe 400-year-old banyan tree where I've had the blessing to call my home, or that I had the blessing to call my home. And this is also where my community lives, the small community. We're all having a shared value for Dharma, Dharma being the golden rule or universal values, that which protects, that which sustains, that which creates harmony and sacred symbiosis between you and me and all beings. And so we've been studying here the Vedic teachings for many, many years, including Sanskrit and Vedic chanting, puja, meditation, inner child meditation, yoga, you name it. And so I have come back here to Mother Bali after 1.5 years. I've been on a huge expansion journey, you can say so. And I have come back a couple of weeks ago and I dove right into one of my most favorite yoga teacher trainings that I have been invited to for the last few years to be a philosophy teacher. I like to call it a Vedic knowledge teacher, called Vedic Dharma. It's a co-creation by Daniela Mandala, a dear, dear beloved sister from Mexico, founder of SOHA School, Sacred School of Healing Arts. Daniela Garza Rios, but also known as Daniela Mandala. She's the founder of Mandala Vinyasa and so many other beautiful creations we've met here in Bali, also many, many years ago. And dove right into the yoga teacher training, Vedic Dharma. We led the teacher training together for 10 days. So it was the most wonderful way to land again after this 1.5 year in Mother Bali and integrating my journey. And I wanted to, continue with recording the episodes for Born to Be Free podcast. I invited and asked my dear friend Vari, incredible videographer and photographer, who's been also supporting Daniela and many other amazing human beings here in Mother Bali, if he would support me in this project. And he said, yes, let's do it. So here we are. I'm so happy to have Daniela Mandala here with me for our first episode, the Born to Be Free podcast. Thank you so much for you, for being you, and for being here today. And we're going to dive into this adventure. How are you feeling?
Home. It's funny that you mentioned that it gives you tears just to be here, because we're in Ubud in Bali, and I'm in the south. I'm in Uluwatu, and as I was coming here, this was my first home in Ubud, and me too. I had tears because this is Swami G's community. This is the abode that I've been learning and growing, and so much of my heart and my prayers and my teachings live here. And so it also made me so emotional just to be walking in these little pathways and under this tree. I even send it to my partner, like, remember this tree, you know. So also I want to mention I'm not the creator of Mandala Vinyasa, but it's a good opportunity to mention my teachers, Mayra Kadengo and Shiva Ray, who first started exploring with the mandala. So always honoring Swami G, our teachers, and in the yoga and in this beautiful Vedic tradition.
I have truth bumps because that's what we all get to do as teachers, to honor our teachers, which is sometimes a little bit lost in nowadays world. We're like afraid to mention our teacher, afraid that suddenly our students will go to our teachers. And that's something like in my tradition, I have never felt that my teachers would always mention their teachers and who is Swami Dayananda, Puja Swami Dayananda Saraswati, and he would mention always his teacher, Pranavananda and Tarananda and Chinmayananda, and this deep reverence for the lineage, for the Guru Shishya Parampara, which is real and alive and is not a myth. And so, shall we honor
Yes.
something for our teachers?
Yeah.
Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha, and maybe the Gurur Brahma mantra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Om Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om. Yeah.
Mm.
So we come from the lineage of Advaita Vedanta, which is the teachings of non-duality. In other words, revealing through the Mahavakya. Maha means big, Vakya means a sentence. Mahavakya Tattvamasi, Tat Tvam Asi, Tat Tvam, Tvam, you, Asi are that. That means the cause of this whole universe, which means you are one with everything and everyone, and which means there's no difference between you and me or anyone else. It's the vision reveals that you are the gold in and through all the ornaments. And I remember when I came here under the shala and I met Swamiji, and he would say, and look into my eyes, you are the gold in and through all the ornaments.
Mm-hmm.
And all you need is to know. All I need is to know that I am that gold in and through all the ornaments. And it like clicked. Like, if I know that I'm the gold in and through all the ornaments, means I am every ornament that I see. I'm Daniela, I'm my friend, I'm my brother, I'm my sister, I'm everyone. And there is no room for comparison anymore. Which means no room for pain, no foundation for jealousy anymore, which means abhayam. Abhayam means fearlessness. And so this has been your path, our path to discover that truth. And it's quite a path, isn't it? It's quite a path because there's no bypassing. There can be bypassing, which is known as spiritual bypassing, to just kind of revel in the truth and then not take care of our humanness.
Yeah.
But in our tradition, there's no bypassing. We cannot understand reality, which means discover the fact of our oneness without including our human experience, which means embracing the little one, the one that feels and rejected by mommy and daddy and settle account at the altar of Ishvara. And so we've been introduced to puja rituals, and like the very day one, gotta do puja ritual, go to the altar and bow, do your namaskaram, and get out of offense defense posture, out of ninja posture, and rest in the infinite embrace, the mother, the infallible mother and the infallible father, and discover trust again. And what means trust means to be able to trust in that which is non-manipulative, which is scary because nowadays all we see is manipulation. I want to take that back. It's not true, and it's not all we see, because in my life it's quite different. I've been very, very blessed, but that's what many people experience, and we also have experienced that manipulation, control, agendas, and that's our journey, the heroes and heroines' journey, to get out of manipulation and to get out of control and to come back into a prayerful, conscious way of living. And so I'd love to hear, we want to hear your story, the real deal, right? Because we're humans, we have our hurts and pains, and through those hurts and pains, we have grown. Right? We wouldn't have grown without the heartbreak, the betrayal, the love of our lives.
Every day.
Every day, huh? And then we feel this like, oh, and it hurts so much. And all you want is to give it back and take revenge. And then like, oh, but if I if I do give revenge, if I do, how do you say that? What's the verb of
Act back.
hard back,
Act or
act back, hit
yeah,
back? The law of karma is it's gonna come back at me.
a reaction.
The reaction, right, will come back. So I gotta resolve this pain. And then, okay, thank you so much for bringing me to my knees. And you were my greatest teacher. Without you, I wouldn't be here. I know that I have projected my security, my happiness, my love onto something or someone other than myself. So then this person or situation becomes the greatest teacher
Yeah.
of our lives. So, what does that bring up in you?
So much already. Yeah. Arriving to these teachings first and foremost. How did I get here? I was in my dark night of my soul, basically exactly in my Saturn muddy mess. You know what they say, make your mess your message.
Make your mess your
Yeah,
message.
and it's so true because in the beginning we don't know how much this mess really matters and how much is exactly what I needed to find these teachings, to find jnana, to find the knowledge, to understand that there's Maya, that there's this illusionary world that we all play and we learn and we're entertained and we live our life and we have relationships and homes and kids and there's all of this beautiful reality. But then there's also the knowledge of the self. And so we get caught up with identifying everything that we do in this Maya. And then when the crap hits the fan, then you don't know what to do and how to seek security and how to seek happiness and how to come back to your feet. And when I was going through my worst nightmare, my worst fear, which was when I split with my baby's father, he was 1 year old and I was doomed. I was like, what am I going to do as a single mother with a 1 year old that breastfeeds and like, I don't even know if I can take care of him by myself. And I was here in Bali. I didn't have family around because I just felt a calling to be here. And then I walked into this place. But I walked into this
Who brought
place.
you here?
Well, actually, I walked into this place 15 years ago because my friend, Carlos Romero, was talking to me about Swamiji and he showed me a voice note or a voice recording of Swamiji. And then I heard him and I was like, where can I find these teachings with this teacher? And he said, well, this is where you'll find him. And so 15 years ago, I came here just kind of like, hello, is this where I'll do pujas? And there was a puja, and that's where I met you. So ever since that, I've been studying with Swamiji and even from afar and listening to his recordings and week by week. And it was just always close to my heart. And I went and did my life and then had a kid. And then I arrived back to teacher training here. And that's where I split with my partner. And I was like, what do I do? Where do I go? Swamiji, I need to go back to the teachings because I'm suffering. Like, I don't know what to do. And anyway, I came to a puja just to pray, and there was a house opening here. And I was like, this is where I need to live. And
Kamala.
yeah.
Yes.
And so this is when I arrived to this beautiful community and I discovered these teachings more and more and more could take me out of my mess, could help me not react from the pain, could help me sit down in the altar, scream and yell and pray and do my mantras and understand these practices that would take me to that ultimate self knowledge. Because it's really hard to say, okay, like it's really easy to say we're all one. We're all the same. We're all one and the same being. We're all
Love and light.
interconnected.
Love
Love
and
and
light.
light, love
Love
and
and
light.
light.
But then, like, how do you wake up and say, right, I'm God. So if my house breaks down or if my boyfriend disappears, or then where is that knowledge? So the fact that we can always remember again and again, coming back to the teachings, boom, you can switch almost like the nervous system switches from the parasympathetic to the sympathetic. Same thing. It's like, boom, I can switch to my non-dual voice. Okay, there's a mess. Okay, let me remember that I am infinite intelligent being, that everything I'm going through, I wrote it down somewhere. I asked for it. This is my, yeah, this is like,
My
this.
order.
And that ability of the karma yoga to be, okay, I can receive this with glad acceptance and I
And I
can,
want to, karma
yeah,
yoga, very important that we're actually going to go into that topic or that word of karma yoga, because in
yes,
the yoga world, this word is very, very misunderstood.
needs to be
Yeah.
unfolded.
So please just put a little note there. We're going to go and actually, unfold what that really means. Yeah.
Yes. So receiving, having the ability to receive the situation with glad acceptance and then not reacting to it, but rather having an introspection, coming to pray, coming to the knowledge of the self, and responding to it from a place of offering, from a place of love, from a place of, this is exactly what I'm meant to go through. And I needed to go through that fire, and I needed to burn and to mulch my spirit, that then gave me the resilience and the spirituality and the beauty that I now share with all my students, because these are the teachings that took me out of my doom, of my greatest fear that manifested, of course.
Greatest fear of being abandoned.
Yeah, as a
Yeah,
single
right.
mom.
As a single
That was
mom.
my greatest fear, and
Yeah,
it happened.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's really the greatest fear of all human beings, is the fear of abandonment and rejection. Because what does that mean if I'm rejected and abandoned? What's the underlying
Yeah, the underlying
conclusion?
conclusion was, I'm not worthy enough. I don't know if I can even raise my child by myself. Like, how am I gonna? I didn't even have enough money to support myself and my child. And it was hard because going through the birth was already a lot. And then going through a breakup when you're learning how to be a parent, oh my God, I couldn't even bear with the idea. And when I arrived here, I found a community. I found the prayer. I found the teachings that will make my heart come to an understanding, come to prayer, come to settle and be exactly where I needed to be, cocooned, held, listening to the words of Swami G every day.
And that's grace, right?
That
The
was
grace.
that
That's
was
grace.
Daivam.
Daivam.
That was grace. Just
Daivam means grace. So the grace in the moment when everything falls apart, and then the grace of finding the community or a teacher or a book. It could be anything or anyone, but the grace of being
walking
held.
into Swamiji's community and being, oh, there's a house open for you.
Yeah, yeah.
That was pure Daivam. And these are the unseen results of our prayers, because many times you're just praying and you're like, what am I doing this for? But
Yeah. So unseen result, like we say in the Vedic tradition, when you pray, there are two results that take place. So a karma, this is a kaika karma, can be a verbal prayer, it's vachika karma, or it can be a kaika karma, which means the whole body is involved, or manasa karma, it's a mental karma, mental prayer. And so then there will be a result, a karma pala. And that pala, that fruit, is twofold. It's drishta, seen, and adrishta, unseen. So the seen result can manifest in the moment, and the unseen result will manifest later. So whenever we do a karma prayer that is within universal values, and naturally prayers are usually within universal values. One can also pray for things that are adharmic, but within universal values, then we add to our spiritual account the sanchita karma. Our
little
spiritual account
punya.
is punyam, 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 punyam,
Your
and it
spiritual
grows.
merits,
Exactly.
spiritual dollars,
The
Swamiji
spiritual
calls
dollars, yes. It grows through our
it.
prayers and rituals, and then it will result, fructify later. And that is the result to be held. And
To receive the grace.
yeah,
And ultimately, what I needed to understand, what I really needed to see with this knowledge was my happiness was bound by situations. And Swami G kept saying, "You are full and complete. You are the self, and you are the self. You are one with the self of the universe." And I'm just like, "Yeah, but I'm experiencing all this suffering and all this pain." And then it's like, "Yeah, but we need these practices to to say to be able to absorb the teachings." And in these practices comes the knowledge, right? Jnana and karma and meditation, upasana. And in the knowledge comes like, okay, I have an understanding that I, as a human being, have things that I really like and they're not here. I want a husband, I want a partner, I want a house, I want kids, I want, you name it. And then there's things that I don't like and that appear: divorce, cancer, balloon popping, just, you know,
Balloon
things.
popping, like you gotta explain that. What is the balloon popping?
So the balloon
Yeah,
metaphor
what is the balloon metaphor?
that Swamiji always
Yeah.
uses is there's a mother and there's a kid and they're playing with a balloon. And the balloon is beautiful and it's yellow and the child is so excited to play with the balloon and suddenly pop, the balloon pops. And the child goes, "Why my balloon? This is like the end of my life, you know?" And and the mother comes to hold the child and says, "It's okay, darling. It's just a balloon and balloons pop." So the child is attached to the idea of the balloon. And however, the mother, because we are adults, we know that balloons pop and the balloon can be any situation in life. And how somehow the mother knows that it's gonna it's gonna pop. And it's what we say, life is like a sandcastle. It's a very beautiful metaphor to know that everything here that is bound by time and space will eventually cease to exist. There is nitya and anitya. There is things that are permanent and things that are impermanent. And so everything that is impermanent, bound by time and space, this body, this mind, everything is gonna terminate at some point. But the mother knows that the balloon will pop, and so the
And
mother,
we want to add here,
yeah,
she's enjoying the balloon thoroughly.
exactly.
She knows the balloon is gonna pop, but she's not like, balloons pop, so I'm not gonna enjoy the balloon. Like, and I did that. I remember when I
Yeah.
was like I was like starting my yoga journey in Venezuela, and like and then I understood like whatever happiness I can enjoy, it's temporary. So what's the point of enjoying anything?
Yeah. Why would I adopt a puppy if the puppy's gonna die anyway? It's
Exactly.
like, but we do that.
You do
We
that.
do that even when you have a dog and the dog dies and you get so much shock and you're like, I'm not gonna buy another one because then I'm gonna go through this experience.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are caught up in the
Yeah.
balloon
Yeah.
because the balloon can be your puppy, your husband, your cancer. It could be anything.
And
Your
it
health.
can and it will be.
Yeah. Right. So
Yeah.
understanding the idea of I have binding likes and I have binding dislikes. And binding means if I don't have this, I'm not happy, full, complete, secure, pleasurable. Or if this comes to my life, then I'm not happy, secure, free, etc. But we need to understand that the ragas and the dveshas, that's what we call them in Sanskritam.
Raga, a binding like, dvesha, a binding
Binding
dislike. And so we want to really distinct here because there's also this idea that desires are bad and you shouldn't be desiring. No, desires are sacred. You can even say that. I always teach my students desires are sacred. Yet we want to discriminate, discern where have we projected our happiness, security, love onto something, someone other than ourselves.
Exactly.
And then we discover, okay, this desire is a binding one. Now my journey is to convert this binding into a non-bind or a preference. Non-bind desire called preference. Yes.
Yeah, so understanding that my binding likes and dislikes can be preferences. And Swamiji always speaks about how fast can you go from what to so what? And things that he always mentions the mantra seen and gone. It's always a seen and goner. But it's easier said than done because things are gonna pop, balloons pop, and the first reaction is gonna be, "Ah, but what am I gonna do? I'm doomed. How
There's
am
a
I
really
gonna?"
good song by Markandeya,
Oh yeah,
Scene Gone.
scene
Check
gone.
it out on Spotify.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so yeah, understanding how to make these preferences and how to be able to say, okay, this is Maya, this is the illusionary, like impermanent world where I get to live as a human,
And I want to just
experience.
add here, like sometimes the word Maya, Yama iti Maya means that which is not. But that which is not doesn't mean that this what we experience is an illusion is a little bit a tricky definition because then we have the notion or idea that this is doesn't exist at all. And what it means, Yama iti Maya, means there is no separation between this and me actually. So there's some deep unfoldment that is required, yeah.
Yes.
Because this all appears and we do have the experience of it and we do need to validate the experience.
Yes.
Like, and then that's where the whole Ishwarizing comes, the
Yes.
spiritualizing of our life,
Yes.
taking care of the little ones.
Right.
Because otherwise, because in the community, spiritual community, which we've been in for 20 years, like the word Maya has been translated as illusion, and then people think it's all not real. And so this is not real, so I have nowhere to dissolve the pain.
Yeah.
So what is meant by it is that this is not separate from me, really. There's no separation. Like the wheel of separation is not real. And there is something that is very much real, but that which is real is limitless. And this which appears exists, but has a time frame to it. And so in that time frame, we get to deal with it.
It's just a temporary
It's temporary,
experience.
and we take care of it.
Yeah. And we need to go
Yeah.
through the suffering and
Yeah.
the pain. If we didn't, if we were already there in the ultimate cosmic knowledge and absorption of Brahma, then we
wouldn't be
we
reincarnated
wouldn't be here, right? So
in this body.
right.
Mm.
So there's this emotional maturity that comes also through your mess, which then it's kind of like fire. Like when you're in the flames, when you're in the pain, having that ability to like to okay, hello pain, take me by the hand pain.
Oh, pain.
Turn my heart into a
Constant prayer and remain. I love you so.
Right. It's so nice when we
Yeah.
have the same language. So, um, so then being grateful and having that, this is where karma comes back. Having that ability to receive life with glad acceptance somewhere, somehow along the way, there was an order made.
And like, so the karma yoga word has been translated widely as selfless service. It's also very misleading. First of all, you cannot do service without the self. So what we're referring to is service, is seva. That would be the correct word, seva. Karma yoga is not an action. Karma yoga is an attitude. So we do the karma, yes, and then the yoga is the attitude of how we do the karma, which is called Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, an attitude of this action, whatever I do, it doesn't matter if you are cleaning the toilet or cleaning the windows or you're a CEO or a lawyer or a doctor or a teacher, it doesn't matter. What matters is how you operate, like how you do the action. And that is Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. Buddhi, the attitude, Ishvara, God, Arpana, this is an offering to the universe. This is my contribution. I contribute to the well-being of all beings. I'm a contributor. Like the Ishvara Arpana Buddhi helps you to turn from a competitor into a contributor. Because we grew up in a competitive society. And so even within in the spiritual community, we're still competing. You still see competition. And so we get to own that up. We grew up in a competitive society. So there will be competition in me. And so I got to own it up. Oh, yes, I'm a competitive person. And I get to neutralize that. And I neutralize that by becoming a contributor through Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, one side of the Karma Yoga attitude. And then the other side is the Ishvara Prasada Buddhi, the attitude, Ishvara, God, Goddess, the universe, Prasadam. This has been given by the universe as a gift for me to grow. So when you go to a temple in India and you do puja, and then after you receive some rice or flowers or madhu, sweetness. You come with, this is called prasadam, very well given by the universe with glad acceptance, no matter what it is. Right? And glad acceptance means, yes, it can be painful. Like I'm here to, what you said, this, the pain. I want to know where I have pain.
Yeah.
I want to know where I have projected my security, happiness, and love onto something or someone other than myself. Why do I want to know? Because I want to reclaim my power. Because we all have given this power away that we all have been given. We're all powerful beings. Everyone is equally powerful. And that brings us to the topic of power. And what it means to be a powerful being, a powerful leader. And we need desperately powerful dharmic leaders.
Dharma.
Dharmic leaders. Huh?
This is very old.
Yes. And so we are here to call in the dharmic leaders. I'm in the process of creating this huge Maha Concilium Navaratri festival. The Navaratri festival, a festival dedicated to the Navadurgas, the 9 Durgas, the embodiment of Dharma. She who protects Dharma, she who follows a life of Dharma and protects those that cannot protect themselves. And that's really the role of a leader. And we don't have many examples of dharmic leaders. Yeah. So the Navaratri, we're sharing more about that. So stay tuned. It's something big is coming with the grace of God. And if it wants to be, inshallah.
Yes.
Because we need dharmic leaders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that festival.
Yeah.
I love it.
You have taught that many times.
Yeah,
Yes. It's been online
yeah.
for 5 years. And my dream, my vision is to have it in person. And the vision has grown very, very big. Yes. From there, I want to go to the World Economic Forum. And from there, I want to create the World Spiritual Forum in Davos. Yeah, this vision has come through very clearly now. And the seeds are planted. Now I'm calling in all the support, the finances, the people to create the World Spiritual Forum in Davos.
I just had goosebumps.
Truth bumps. Yes, we need it. I mean, it's going to be quite a journey. Painful and pleasant all the way through, but with the teachings and the support, and we have everything is here now. We have the teachers, we have the ancient wisdom, we have modern science, we have the leaders, like the great leaders out there, Gabor Mate, Peter Levine, and, right? And we have our Vedanta Pramanam, incredible spiritual teachers, and we all coming together in Davos, where for 30 years the World Economic Forum did what it did, and we're not coming to fight them. No, we're coming in to bring solutions.
To contribute.
To contribute. Exactly. Thank you very much. To contribute. Yes. To contribute. Yes. And Switzerland is the only place in the world that signed the treaties for neutrality.
Yes.
So.
And you're just like, this is your homeland.
I grew up there. So for whatever reason, I was wondering my whole life, why did I grow up in Davos?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. But we shall see.
Yay.
Yes.
SOHA.
Yes. And so in the meantime, we have Vaidika Dharma.
Yay.
What is Vaidika Dharma?
In the meantime, you can come and
hear the, what do you say? Call the call? No. Respond to the call.
To the calling. Yeah.
We have our Vaidika Dharma training and so much more. You have built a huge school as well.
Yes. My school, the School of Healing Arts, your school, Devi Temple School, we're all contributing to each other because this is how it is. Like, this is how sisterhood. We rise by lifting each other. And I adore to see your offerings. And I'm like, I bathe and my students go to you and your students come to me. And it's all meant to be. And there's just more growth, really, when we unite and we know how to honor our strengths and our beauty and our contributions to the world.
Yeah.
And at having admiration of each other's work. And
that's the teaching in the Dharma.
Yes.
Because there is competition, there is jealousy, and the teaching says pratipaksha bhavana, you put the opposite, and the opposite, admiration. And it can be hard to admire because like, whoa, I can never be like her, never. But if you feel jealous of a quality of her, then it means you have that quality. Otherwise, you couldn't see that quality in the other person. So now it's the journey to bring that quality out in ourselves. And
So coming back to Dharma. And all of these teachings that kind of it's okay to unfold like all these words and everything, but one of the most important things what we teach in Vedic Dharma is how to be a human, how to live this human experience in a way that is in line with, you know, God, human heart, community, earth, planet, just in a way to honor everything that is this whole universe, in a way to live through values, to have the ability to walk with integrity and walk your talk. And it all starts from Dharma. Because if you follow your values, it's what Swami G says, like, Dharmo rakshati
Rakshitaha.
rakshitaha.
The one that protects Dharma is
It's
protected by
by Dharma.
Dharma.
You protect the Dharma, and the Dharma will protect you. And protecting the Dharma is just living to the dot with your values at the best of your abilities, and understanding how.
Practicing, like it's really first we got to practice. We're Dharma practitioner, Dharma sadhakas.
Mm,
The Veda says it takes around 12 years to become a Dharma nishtha, sta to stand, ni, very well. Probably the word standing comes from the Sanskrit dhatu root, sta to stand, ni, very well in Dharma. So from
firm.
the Dharma sadhaka, the practitioner, to Dharma nishtha, around 12 years. That means like we're practitioners, we're practicing. And then as a Dharma nishtha, the values are spontaneous. We don't have to
Mm,
think anymore. Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that?
mm,
Whatever I want to do or not do is spontaneous and it's within universal values. And that's a journey. I mean, that's what I've been practicing. We're all
yeah,
still practicing, but I do see a difference from like 10 years ago, 15 years ago to now. And
huge
huge
difference. Yeah,
difference. Huge.
huge.
Yeah.
And I think the difference that I see now is that when I began the path, I'm like, oh yeah, the values and the yamas and niyamas and all the values, but really understanding that dharma is like fire.
It's fire. Fire.
It's like this, you the fire, you put your finger in the fire is gonna burn you. You're not gonna say, fire, why did you burn me? And the fire goes,
I burn.
I'm fire, I burn. So Dharma is understanding like, okay, what do I gain when I follow these values and what do I lose when I break the values? And then you end up understanding, oh, whenever I break the values, ultimately the one who suffers and has more pain is you. So, oh my God, this was a huge realization of like, okay, I'm not breaking these values because ultimately I'm just creating pain for myself. And then you really get to, okay, what are the values? Because the value is
Is
only
only
my
my value
value
when
when
the
the value
value
of
of
the
the
value
value
is
is
very
really
valuable
valuable
to
to
me.
me. I mean, it's in deepest respect. Like we love because there's so much sweetness.
Yeah,
Madhu.
yeah,
One of the values, madhu, madhuram, sweetness.
yeah.
And to understand the value of the value, contribution of Puja Swamiji.
Mm-hmm.
There's a book called The Value of the Value. We'll post a link to
Yeah,
it.
yes. Absolutely gorgeous book to read and to reread.
And reread
Yeah,
and
yeah,
reread.
yeah.
Like Puja Swamiji in a 3.5 year course, he would teach it many, many, many times over the
Yeah,
3.5 years. Many
yeah.
times, because there's levels of assimilation. The
Mm,
more we mature, the more we see our raga dveshas, our binding likes and dislikes, the more knowledge we gain of the self that is whole and complete,
yeah,
the deeper those values can sink
yeah,
and be assimilated. So over and I teach them again and again, and I read again and again, and
yeah,
just the continuation of assimilating the depths of these values,
yeah,
simplicity and depths.
yeah.
It's not needing to be complicated.
Mm,
It's so simple, so simple, but it's so deep. Right? And we see all the charade and the clothes and the feathers and all of that. It's fun and I love it. You've seen me. It's a charade. But then you discover the truth of the charade, right? And then there's Sharada. There's the
mm,
goddess of Saraswati. There's knowledge and shows you that it's all a sacred play that
yeah.
we can play to the best of our ability. Enjoy the play, the show, but we remember we're just playing a role.
Yes.
And the main role is the devotee role,
Devoted role.
the
Where
bhakta, the
all the
devotee role,
roles merge
where all
into,
the roles merge. The
yeah,
mother role merges into the devotee
devoted
role,
mother.
the daughter
devoted daughter,
daughter, the father,
devoted father,
the son,
devoted son,
the sister,
devoted sister,
the brother.
devoted brother.
And all that is left is the devotee
Mm-hmm.
relating to Ishvara,
Yeah.
God, Goddess, the infallible mother and father, who is always has our back.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
She has always our back.
Yeah. Yeah. And the key is like, well, how do I live through these values is really getting to know the values. That's what Swami G says. How do I make a value valuable is by getting to know the value. By, if you were, I don't know, working with trust or truth or ahimsa, like the nonviolence, or working with,
To cause what is least hurting, right?
yeah,
Ahimsa. You choose what is least hurting, because we always will incur some hurt. It's impossible to not hurt as a human being. But we have a choice every moment to do or not to do, or to do differently. Mm.
I feel like
I need not. I really feel like cutting his head off. I need not.
Oh, I love you.
Yeah, I love you, Devi,
Yeah.
as you are loved.
So yeah, understanding values, understanding dharma, understanding how these really contribute to having a better life in all of your realms. And then these values will help you assimilate the truth that ultimately we are full and complete, infinite, intelligent, free beings. And it's so hard to assimilate this truth. So easy to say we're one, but can you actually feel it when the crap hits the fan? Can you feel that? Can you come back into these teachings of like, okay, glad acceptance. This is here because of a reason. Offering, not reacting. Less reaction, less frequency of reaction, less intensity of reaction,
faster
sooner
recovery
recovery.
of reaction. More and more leisure. Because leisure is earned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are the practices, the means to understand the goal. And what I understood as I was going through this mass is that these teachings are the foundations of yoga. I have a yoga school and we're teaching about mandala and vinyasas and, you know, adjustments and teaching methodology. But we tend to forget what the practice is there for in the first place. It's for you to be able to understand your ultimate natural truth, your ultimate freedom, your ultimate liberation. So we get caught up with so many teacher trainings and teachers out there and methodologies and techniques and blah, blah, blah. But what is yoga there for is what is actually important. The purpose of yoga is the understanding of your one true ultimate self. And so coming back and back again when we meditate, why do you meditate? When you do yoga, why do you do yoga? When you practice, when you chant, when you do puja, when you
When you do
sing
the
mantra.
embodiment rituals, even
Yeah.
including sacred sexuality. Why did you do that? Everything. We get lost in the sadhana.
Yeah.
But we got to remember that. Sadhya. Sadhana means the practice.
Yeah.
And the purpose, the goal is the sadhya.
Yeah.
And that we got to keep in you. Pinpoint.
Never forget
Yeah.
why you do what you do. And that's where Swamiji says, Nishaya,
Sankalpa,
Abhyasa.
abhyasa.
So the clear practice of clear intended meaning that your intention is absolutely like received by all your cells, that you know exactly why you're doing what you're doing. Always have clarity and firm intention, determination that that's your focus. And if you maintain that knowledge of the self, just by knowing that you are ultimately free, that's already giving you freedom. That's already giving you moksha. And the more we understand
Moksha means freedom.
yeah, the more we understand this truth, the more it becomes ingrained and the more you can actually tap into it when you need it and go into breathing in, breathing out, non-dual voice, infinite self. Why is this here? Because I order it. I receive glad acceptance. Okay, I make the offering. I come to do puja. I not react. I respond and I take time to assimilate, to mature, and to experience life. Bring that, like mulching of the spirit and come back to the ultimate truth. this is why suffering is here. It's more and more giving us the emotional maturity
And then
to
from suffering, you can turn to the non-suffering, and pain will always be there.
yeah.
Like you could, but the suffering
The
is
balloons will
optional.
always pop.
The balloons will always pop, right? There's gonna be some pain. Pain at the beginning when you do something, pain to sustain it,
And
pain, tremendous pain in loss. But the suffering is optional when you have knowledge, jnanam, self-knowledge, right? The drowning, you need not drown anymore.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
understanding what is here impermanently and knowing that this life is a beautiful sandcastle. And then from there, loving it, experiencing it, having
Yeah.
relationships, enjoying life, and also
And also contributing. Like
yeah,
that's where it comes. And that's why I love Vedic Dharma so much, because it is the combination of really the spirit, the heart of the Vedic tradition, which is Dharma,
yeah,
but then also the business side,
yeah.
right? And we have been great business Davies, we can say, sacred business Davies. It has been a huge journey for me, like so huge. Always admired you so much, how you led your school. And I also was so inspired by your school and creating School of Healing Arts. And that was really a very, very difficult part for me to, yeah, to become a businesswoman. Which I even the word business, I could not say the word business. I was like totally against business and had almost like an aversion, like my whole body would just like contract. Me, business, like no way. I was teaching on donation for years, for years, for years, for years. And then something shifted, and I discovered when I went through all the archetypes, like the teacher, the heroine, the priestess, the witch, the muse, they all came effortlessly. Not effortlessly, effortlessly, but I like, yes, I can go through the priestess and the witch and the teacher. But when it came to the queen, I was like, holy Santa Maria, the queen. That's so much responsibility. And I had no example, like embodied example of a queen that was a dharmic queen. And so that was a huge journey the last few years for me. And now I can really say, like, I come to love the queen. I think even embody the queen.
You do embody the
Yeah.
queen. Yes. Yeah.
And have a lot. I get a lot to share, and you also, and I love that about Vedic Dharma, to bring actually together the spiritual, like we're really actually teaching the heart of the yoga and the Vedic tradition, and now daring to bring it together with the business side. Like, what? Like spirituality and money together? Really? No, there must be something wrong, right? I mean, that's what I believed.
Yeah.
I really believed that as a spiritual person, you could not have money, you could not be rich. I had all these wrong myths in my mind. And then in the Vedas itself, it says, let all the dharmis be wealthy.
Yeah.
The dharmic people, those that follow universal values, because they know how to use wealth
Yeah.
and power. They know that wealth is to be shared. That's why Lakshmi, she receives and she gives. The goddess of luxury, the goddess of Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth. Money comes in, money goes out. Money means a jewel, really. Like the jewels come and the jewels go. The jewels come and the jewels go. And she knows how to sustain it for the well being of all beings. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Of course, as a spiritual being, there's infinite wealth.
Yes.
You are the infinite wealth, and then naturally, outside wealth is also there.
Yeah.
So, duh. But that was such a huge journey. Oh my
Honestly,
God.
it was the same for me,
Yeah.
like understanding exactly what you said, like business, just
Yeah.
the word,
Yeah.
it made me shriek, like,
Yeah.
because we're coming from the yoga world.
Yeah.
And yoga and business are like, there's some kind of resistance, like these teachings in my head, like it should be free. I don't know, business, even like money.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it's so shameful. It's
Yeah.
so why,
Don't
why?
talk about money. Like,
Right?
yeah.
And that's where I'm like, no, you know what? These things need to go together to understand money, to understand wealth, to make friends with wealth, to know how to use it with dharma,
Yeah.
and to know how to, like have this ability to see that money comes, money goes,
Yeah.
namaha. Wealth comes, wealth goes, namaha. Every loss is a gain, every gain is a loss, so on and so forth. It's a game that we play in this beautiful earth, and it's a balloon.
Mm.
that will pop. Somehow, somewhere, can pop anytime. But it's something that you can play with that can create abundance in and through the Dharma world,
Yeah.
that we can contribute and make charity and plant trees and
Buy lands and create
yeah,
communities again. Give the lands back to the
give
indigenous
give
people and do
back.
forgiveness ritual. And that's
Yeah,
all part of my vision of the World Spiritual Forum.
definitely. And in Vedic Dharma, we did the cleaning up of the ocean,
Yeah.
and you make your offerings, Panchamahayagnas.
The sacred Pancha means 5, Mahayagnas, the 5 sacred daily offerings to be done as a human being to create and maintain cosmic harmony,
Yes,
to give back to the unseen world, to
right.
give back to the lineage, the teachers, the teaching, to give back to our ancestors, to give back to Manushya, our human fellow beings, and Bhuta, to all the animals and other beings, plant kingdom. And then you have covered the whole world.
Yeah.
And then this is what you do. You give back to
And
the
imagine how
degree
much
you
you
can.
give back with wealth,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Now that you are wealthy and
Yeah.
you're a queen, you're
Yeah.
embodying
Yeah.
that empowerment.
Yeah.
Now you can actually
Yeah.
contribute some really like world-changing dynamics of saving dolphins, or like cleaning up the ocean, or and this is important.
Very
We need to
important.
own that experience
Yeah.
of like, I'm happy, and understand that wealth
Yeah.
is a means to be able to contribute to my
Contribute.
family, to my loved ones, and so you learn to play the game knowing that balloons
Yeah.
pop, and
Yeah.
yet learning the business of,
Yeah.
okay, step 1, step 2,
Yeah.
how to change my relationship with
Yeah.
this. What are the first steps? How
Yeah.
to see what my purpose is as a human,
Mm.
what your purpose is, what your talents and virtues are, how to stack them, how to translate that into something that the people around you need and that brings value. And so how what you love can bring value to the people around you that then bring value back to you. It's like a value cycle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's how it was like, okay, business, spirituality, spiritual entrepreneurs, Vaidika Dharma came along, and it took me about a year to be able to say, yes, I want them to be together. It was such a battle inside of me, and then it clicked. This is necessary. The people that have the Dharma, we need to know how to play this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all. That's why the diamond, my master, mistress, my mentorship
There
program
you go.
came.
Yeah.
I see them actually merging. Yeah, right now. So, in one way or another, in whatever form. But it's all part of the bigger plan. It's so incredible what's coming. Like it's so big things are coming, are here and are coming. I can see it. And it's there, like in the Veda, we have this beautiful mantra, Yaschanda Sama Shabho Vishwarupaha. And it's a mantra where we tell the universe, give me all the wealth in the world once I'm incorruptible. Right? And it's a big one. Like, because I chanted this mantra for a long time. So I had infinite wealth in terms of knowledge and house and food. So I felt so wealthy. And then money wise, it took some time because I really needed to learn how to use money. I'm still learning. I'm really still learning fiat currency, and now the cryptocurrency I'm really diving into, and also like learning, yeah, so much
It's
about
very
that.
easy to get carried away
So
with
easy,
money.
so easy. Yeah,
So you need to have the
yeah.
values on the
Oh,
dot,
right.
set
And that's
on
why with this
ground.
mantra I chanted it for
Yeah.
so long. It gives it like I know, like the wealth will come when I'm incorruptible.
Yeah.
And so the mantra, like the whole Vaidika womb, it's a womb literally. It's a house. Every single part of the house is covered, and it gives you the means, the sadhanas, to take care of every single aspect of life. Like it does, the finances, sexuality. Like that's why I dove so deep into sexuality, because sexual trauma and the shame that was lying in my genitals. And as long as there's shame, how I'm gonna be really wealthy? And the sex and money, it's all connected. And then power, and then the whole topic of power and how to be with power and what to do with so much power. And then what if I hurt people if I'm such a powerful being? So then you have to cut through or meet all the fear, right, of being so powerful, and then seeing how power also has been abused and misused. And so that's the sacred triangle, like of sex, wealth, and power, to restore that sacred triangle, this trinity of Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Durga. And that's what Navaratri is all about, really, the 9 nights of the goddess. And So we are restoring here
Yes.
so much.
Yeah,
Like
and
it's a
how to
restoration, really. We are not, this is not new. We have not created any of it.
anything.
Nothing. We are not the author, right? And that's also so big. It's all Saraswati. It's the goddess of knowledge. We are not the author. We cannot really trademark it. We cannot put our signature there. We can just like in reverence and say, okay, but it's not mine. It's given by the Mother Veda.
Yes.
Like every single bit, it's there. That's why it's called Purna Vidya.
Yeah.
Purna means complete. Vidya, knowledge. It's complete knowledge
Yeah.
because it covers every single aspect
Yeah.
from politics, from astrology, astronomy, singing, the whole nada,
Yeah.
and yeah, every aspect is
Sound.
the sound, exactly. Grammar, Ayurveda. It's all there in Mother
Yeah.
Veda.
Yes. And
Incredible.
we don't create anything, and yet our virtues are only uniquely
In that way also.
ours.
Yeah.
And so your constellation nobody else has. And then my constellation nobody else has. And what we do with all of the practices that are not ours is that we blend different branches together to fit what serves us better and serves our community better. So if it's business of yoga or the diamond or Vedic Dharma with the Vedas, for me, for example, I have lucid flow where I'm including the mandala and the practice of, the physical form of your body, but then how to create these sequences, weaving the Vedic teachings, weaving all of our intentions, weaving the myths and the great stories that keep these teachings alive. And why do we chant to Ganesha and Lakshmi? Which is ultimately, we're not chanting to anything outside of us. We're chanting to the virtues of these archetypes that ultimately live within us. So it's not a religious practice, it's a practice that brings the virtues here, now, inside of you, and understanding, oh, this is the archetype that I use, but eventually I'm not singing to anything outside of me. And then how to weave that into the yoga practice to ultimately come back to self knowledge. And this is,
And self knowledge means really actually the removal of self ignorance.
yes.
Like because we can hear the word self knowledge and then you think you get new knowledge of the self. We're just removing this layer.
Yeah, we're not gaining
We're not
knowledge.
gaining really knowledge, no.
We're
removing,
removing
yeah,
ignorance.
self ignorance.
Right. So weaving the Vedic teachings into the teacher training of yoga then comes to the true purpose of yoga. And this is what I love doing because I see so many other teacher trainings that I essentially forget what we do, why we do what we
Exactly.
do.
Yes.
And then from there, the School of Healing Arts, this is why I call it School of Healing Arts, is
Yeah.
because it's bringing me back to whole,
Yeah.
to the knowledge of I am full and complete. And then there's also the elements, the healing realm,
I love that. Yeah. You bring
yeah,
traditional Chinese medicine, the
yes,
TCM.
and the diet and how to take
So
care of
important.
your, how to balance your fire and how to understand where the heart meridian and the heat and how to sequence through meridians, and all of that knowledge will bring you into self-healing, self-understanding that this is just infinite. The
Yeah.
more we cannot bypass this human body. We
And
cannot.
why would we want to
Yeah.
bypass it? It's so
Yeah.
beautiful. It's so
Right.
soft, so
Yes.
loving, so juicy. Why would we want?
Yeah.
And then at one point, yes, we grow out of it. Like there will be the time where we have experienced enough and we may say, I do not want to be incarnated again anymore.
I'm ready to be enlightened, okay? I'm just, just putting it out there.
It's part 2 of the episode.
The path.
Yeah.
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 So, yeah, all of our practices blend in these teachings. And that's what's important, that all of us, everyone who's looking for, how to connect and how to understand this purpose better, this knowledge,
Yeah.
then we have options.
Yeah.
And what do you connect with? If you connect with sexuality, maybe, and you like really want to heal, and then you find her beautiful program, or you connect with the rituals and the pujas, and you come into Sharada is an amazing ritual priestess, I would say. And you can learn all about rituals in her teachings. And that's why she's in Vedic Dharma, because I adore that about you. And as much as I love ritual, I'm focused in another area, and I need that in my life because I'm also doing rituals every day. So honoring, each other and saying, wow, all of these programs are just wealthy in here
Yeah.
for everyone to access. I really wish everyone to find exactly what they need, and there's a complete contribution and an honoring and of each other.
Yeah.
And may this be experienced also in other
Yes,
communities,
exactly. May
you
this
know?
ripple.
Yeah, because it's very easy to like,
Yeah.
oh, there's another yoga studio, but my yoga studio is better, where it's so much easier to contribute and
And we need it.
yeah,
We're in a mass
yeah,
psychosis.
yes,
I mean, burnout,
yeah,
s- s- cancer, psychosis. I mean, it's left and right.
yeah, it's
I
like,
mean, the disease, right? That,
yes,
that are people experiencing.
offense defense,
Yeah. We are
because
meeting each other in fear.
yes,
We're always like we're in fight, flight, freeze
yeah,
mode, basically, when we meet each other.
yeah,
And then you can start to track yourself. Oh, okay. And then you can start to resource yourself and come back to the wind of presence. This is all somatic experiencing language, which is a
yeah,
huge contribution from Peter Levine and Gabor Mate that we're also like incorporating. And it's so needed because
yeah,
we are afraid of each other.
yes,
We're in survival mode instead of
exactly.
thriving mode.
Yes, and maybe you in your hometown are already feeling a
Yeah.
resistance with someone else that is offering
Yeah.
something similar.
Yeah.
How would it look like for you to make the first step to say, hey, you know what? I sent you this student that is looking for learning pujas or looking for bhakti, and she's looking for, or he's looking for, and you just write a little note, hey, this student's coming your way because I know that you are really amazing at this. And then that already starts changing the relationship of contribution rather than, I send lots of my students to different trainings that are my friends because they have what they're looking for. Why would I not connect them? It comes from a place of insecurity, and in the beginning, it might feel like that
Yeah.
if you're not fully settled in your
Yeah. Yeah, you
business,
feel like you're going to lose something.
Yeah.
And then all your students are going to go to them. And then you
Mhm.
will end up alone. And nobody will be there anymore.
And it happens to everyone. And
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my God.
We have
Yeah.
to go through that to be able
Yeah.
to say, wait, this is only contributing.
Yeah. And you're going to grow so much more. Like I remember my teacher, they always send us to their gurubais. We call it gurubai and guruben. And Swamiji would say, you get to meet, you have to meet, actually told me, Radha, like Shri Radha ji. And you were
Yeah.
also our Vedanta teacher, female Vedanta teacher, so Jungian psychologist. And I needed her. I mean, I would not be
Me
here
too.
with her without her knowledge of Jungian psychology and inner child work. That's why in our tradition, in Buddha Swamiji's tradition, literally, the inner child is incorporated. Because in the 70s, psychology was not approved. Like in the spiritual Vedic tradition, even then, they believed we don't need psychology. Like it's all there in the Gita and it's enough. And then it was very clear, it's a long story, another episode come up, how then psychology came into our tradition and is part of our tradition. And that's really a contribution in our tradition of Sri Radhaji of combining Vedanta with psychology. And then like we are now combining Vedanta with business and meridian and food
Yoga.
and yoga. I mean, it's always combined actually in
Yeah.
sexuality. It's not really was not really separate. But the thing is, you would not come to Vedanta before you already had a very high level of maturity.
Mhm.
So in the time we call it Satya Yuga, Tretara Yuga, and other eras of time, we would come to Vedanta once we already are very cooked. We know that the whole world is a balloon. We're integrated person. We're Dharma Nishta. We're established in Dharma. Then you would actually come to Vedanta and study this the highest knowledge or the
Yeah.
Parama Vidya, Paravidya.
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 Being an
And so now
adhikari.
here in Kali Yuga, in this era where like everything is upside down and we're confused on almost every single level, we're coming to this teaching. That's also the grace of the universe that you come to this teaching No matter actually, all
Your
you need is
background.
to desire,
Yeah.
to want to know. So it doesn't matter, like, what is your background. If you say, I want truth and moksha, the teacher will appear. It is like that. But it is doesn't mean that we will not experience our human karmas. They will still be there. And right now, in this era, we all have quite a lot of painful karma to resolve as an individual and as a collective. Mm,
Yep.
yeah.
But may we do it
Maybe
together.
do it together, tatastu, in madhu, in sweetness, and truffle each other and not trouble each other, and snuggle with each other and not struggle with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I get angry, I will tell you, I'm so angry right now and I
Yeah.
can't talk to you.
Yeah.
Like, to be able to have these tools,
Yeah.
tone up.
To call each other out. Like,
Yeah, wow.
hey, I feel you're angry.
Yeah.
Should we take a breath?
Or talk later.
Yeah.
It's big. It's
Yeah.
big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? I feel this is a wrap.
Yes.
How can people find you? Where?
Um,
Instagram?
yes.
Website?
Yes.
Yes.
My website is sohayoga.com.
SOHAyoga.com. We'll
School
put
of
it
Healing
in
Art.
the
Yeah.
description, of course.
My Instagram is soha.yoga.
Soha.yoga.
And my personal Instagram is Daniela Mandala.
Daniela Mandala.
Yeah.
Mandala.
So they can reach out. You can sign up to my newsletters, same as Sharada. And yeah, just reach out. Hey, I'm interested in that lucid flow program or the elements for the meridians, or there's Vedic teachings weaved in all my programs and the Vaidika Dharma that we teach together, which is a jewel. And it's coming
And
online
it's
soon.
so it's like it's really like we've done it how many times? 4 times.
4.
But it's really like as we mature and grow and things start to like fall, it's really becoming
Polished.
polished.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
feels like, okay, and now it's coming online. And all my programs are online, so you can also
Yeah,
just,
incredible online school.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so
Thank
much. This has
you.
been amazing for our first episode of Born to Be Free podcast here in Mother Bali. We're here at under the banyan tree in Ubud
With the rain.
with the rain blessing. Thank you so much. If you like this podcast or this episode, the best way to support is to, yes, jump on our newsletter list, subscribe to the podcast, like it, and share it with your family and friends, because the more people know about it, the more we will also grow. And we love to hear from you. Let us know in the comments how it landed for you. And join us in all the upcoming events. I'm going to have the priestess initiation training coming up in Mother Bali in Ubud. It's also known as the Durga training. It's where we go through 7 major rites of passage from birth to death. I have the Muse coming up, which is a trauma-informed sacred sexuality Vedic coaching certification happening in April for 1 year online. Then I have my 11th Vedanta retreat, embodied wisdom retreat in Sweden this year again. And there's many things coming up, the Navaratri, and yeah, and hopefully the World Spiritual Forum will need a lot of support for that. So, and then there's the Diamond, my Master Mistress Mind program. And so check out in my website. Thank you so much for being here with us. You are the gold in and through all the ornaments. Thank you. From my heart to yours, deepest gratitude for your presence. May you follow your wildest dreams, live your highest purpose, and expand into the infinite, because that's what you are.